Welcome to the Dapper Dog. Today we'll be going over the influenza pandemic of 1918-1919, also called Spanish flu. The most severe influenza outbreak of the 20th in terms of total numbers of death, and is among the most devastating pandemics in human history. Before we start, subscribe to the Dapper Dog and ring the bell icon to get regular updates on our latest uploads. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. The modern-day coronavirus outbreak brought renewed interest and attention to the Spanish flu, or forgotten pandemic, so named because its spread was overshadowed by the decline of World War I and covered up by news blackouts and poor record keeping. The first wave of the 1918 pandemic occurred in the spring and was generally mild. The sick who experienced such typical flu symptoms as chills, fever, and fatigue usually recovered after several days, and the number of reported deaths were low. However, a second highly contagious wave of influenza appeared with a vengeance in the fall of the same year. Victims died within hours or days of developing symptoms, their skin turning blue and their lungs filling with fluid that caused them to suffocate. In just 1 year, 1918, the average life expectancy in America plummeted by a dozen years. Scientists still do not know for sure where the Spanish flu originated, though theories point to France, China, Britain, or the United States. The first known case was reported at Camp Funston in Fort Riley, Kansas, on March 11, 1918. Some believe infected soldiers spread the disease to other military camps across the country, then brought it overseas. In March 1918, 84,000 American soldiers headed across the Atlantic and were followed by 118,000 more the following month. When the 1918 flu hit, doctors and scientists were unaware what caused it or how to treat it. Unlike today, there was no effective vaccines or antivirals, drugs that treat the flu. The first licensed flu vaccine appeared in America in the 1940s. By the following decade, vaccine manufacturers could routinely produce vaccines that could help control and prevent future pandemics. Complicating matters was the fact that World War I had left parts of America with a shortage of physicians and other health workers, and of the available medical personnel in the United States, many came down with the flu themselves. Additionally, hospitals in some areas were so overloaded with flu patients that schools, private homes, and other buildings had to be converted into makeshift hospitals, some of which were staffed by medical students. Officials in some communities imposed quarantines, ordered citizens to wear masks, and shut down public places, including schools, churches, and theaters. People were advised to avoid shaking hands and to stay indoors. Libraries put a halt on lending books, and regulations were passed banning spitting. With no cure for the flu, many doctors prescribed medication that they felt would alleviate symptoms, including aspirin, which had been trademarked by Bayer in 1899, a patent that expired in 1917, meaning new companies were able to produce the drug during the Spanish flu epidemic. Before the spike in deaths attributed to the Spanish flu in 1918, the U.S. Surgeon General, Navy, and the Journal of the American Medical Association had all recommended the use of aspirin. Medical professionals advised patients to take up to 30 grams per day, a dose now known to be toxic. For comparison's sake, the medical consensus today is that doses above 4 grams are unsafe. Symptoms of aspirin poisoning include hyperventilation and pulmonary edema, or the buildup of fluid in the lungs, and it's now believed that many of the October deaths were actually caused or hastened by aspirin poisoning. The flu took a heavy human toll, wiping out entire families and leaving countless widows and orphans in its wake. Funeral parlors were overwhelmed and bodies piled up. Many people had to dig graves for their own family members. The flu was also detrimental to the economy. In the United States, business was forced to shut down because so many employees were sick. Basic services such as mail delivery and garbage collection were hindered due to the flu-stricken workers. In some places, there weren't enough farm workers to harvest crops. Even state and local health departments closed for business, hampering efforts to chronicle the spread of the 1918 flu and provide the public with answers about it. By the summer of 1919, the flu pandemic came to an end, as those that were infected either died or developed immunity. Almost 90 years later, 2008, researchers announced they discovered what made the 1918 flu so deadly. A group of 3 genes enabled the virus to weaken a victim's bronchial tubes and lungs and clear the way for bacterial pneumonia. Since 1918, there's been several other influenza pandemics, although none as deadly. A flu pandemic from 1957 to 58 killed around 2 million people worldwide, including some 70,000 people in the United States, and a pandemic from 68 to 69 killed approximately 1 million people, including some 34,000 Americans. And that's it from us, guys. If you found this information useful, make sure to give us a like and share with your friends. Subscribe to the Dapper Dog for more amazing and mind-boggling videos. Don't forget to ring the bell icon to stay updated with our content. See you in the next video.